Hi, today I want to talk about my first impressions and first roll experience using my new Pentax 6x7. First of all, I just want to get this out the way. This thing is heavy, like it really feels like a car is on my neck. For the longest time, when I would use my K1000, this felt like a tank around my neck. Like when I was in New York with it all day, my neck was very strained after the long day of walking around. But now comparing it to this, that feels like nothing. So with that out the way, let me talk about the experience of when it came to me. So I got this paired with the 75 f4.5, and it came with the body and the 105 2.4. I like the 75 because that's a 35 millimeter equivalent, and everybody knows that the 105 is the big boy for portraits. This one really is worth all the hype. I got my bundle at a pretty good deal because the 105 had the infamous yellowing on the lens that the older Takumar lenses get from the radiation or something that's in the lenses that gives them a yellowing effect. So with a little bit of research, I seen that it's pretty easy to get rid of that by either leaving it out in the sun or leaving it under a UV light. I've also seen some people use a strong LED light that can fix it, but what I did was I got a UV lamp with two heads on it, had one pointed at the front element, one pointed at the rear element, and I left it like that for a couple weeks straight, just in a box, hidden, that way I wouldn't look at it. And I knew I wanted to use this camera for an upcoming shoot. I wanted to have it with enough time to where the lens could cure and be pretty much gone of all the yellowing, which it was. But also, I wanted to shoot a full roll through this camera before I went to do that session, but I didn't get around to doing that. Life was a little too busy around that time. But I did at least want to try to shoot at least 2 to 3 photos of the roll. That way I can have a feel for how it shoots and works, because this is an electric and you cannot shoot it unless there is film in it and it feels that tension. It will not let you shoot the shutter. So I wanted to at least know how that felt. So on one of the days, I went to go get my hair cut by my good buddy Khalil. I'll put his info here. If you're in the Sacramento area, I highly recommend going to him. He's super chill, really great guy. But I took these 2 photos of him. I'll put them both up right here. And I'll talk about the first one that I took, which was him cutting my hair. Simple mirror selfie. I went strictly off the light meter from the camera. I don't know if I missed focus or if it was the shutter that slapped a little too hard, because this does have a really big shutter, and when it fires, you feel that vibration. This model I got is the MLU version, but I wanted to feel how it felt not using that yet. I think that's what happened on that first photo. And with the second photo, I also see micro shakes or something, most likely from the shutter slapping, because it looks like I nailed focus, it just moved a little. But the photos still have that medium format look that everybody wants, that I've been craving. The reason I bought this camera, because for the longest time I would see photos and photos and photos on Instagram, and they just blow everything out the water, and they're on 6x7 medium format, whether it's this or an RZ67. But I like SLRs, so I went with this. Another thing to talk about is the viewfinder on this one with the TTL prism is not very bright. It's pretty dim, honestly, so nailing that critical focus, if the lighting isn't very good, then it's a little harder, especially with the 75 millimeter. This being an f4.5 is not very good with low light areas. Like, you can't even see what you're focusing on unless it's bright enough. And with that, I was able to get a feel for how the camera shoots, how I need to focus, everything I needed for when I went to go to the session in the studio. So now let's talk about the studio session that I bought this camera in anticipation for. This was my first time being in a studio. I went to my buddy Ray's. I'll put his info right here somewhere. I highly recommend going there. He really saved the session. I'll get into that in a little bit. So when we got there, I wanted to start the shoot off with just digital and a little bit of film with my 35 millimeter. I wanted everybody to get their nerves out and just feel comfortable with the shots, get some poses that we were really liking before I started bringing this out, because it only has a couple shots per roll. So once we got some shots that we really liked, I knew it was time to pull this out and set it all up. I had it on the tripod. I had the shutter release ready. I was getting my exposure set up. Ray was there with the light meter to help me out, so I got my exposure perfect. I spent like a couple minutes trying to get that focus correct, and when I went to press the photo, all you heard was a but no second slap. It got locked up and the battery had died, which scared me because in the car before I went into the studio, I tested the battery with the little button on here to make sure that it wasn't dead. So when it shot, I thought I broke it. I was about to start panicking because I literally bought this camera for this session. So I had completely thought I broke it. I didn't have an extra battery to swap out to, but luckily, Ray had a drawer filled with other film cameras. He pulled a battery out from one of his SLRs that he had, and it fit perfect. It was the one I needed, and it turned on. The shutter slapped back down. I lost that frame, which is a bummer because these shots are a couple dollars per photo, but the session was saved. I still got, I think, like 7 photos out of the roll, and they all came out amazing. These photos have quality that I have not seen on any of my other cameras. My film cameras can't do it. My digital camera isn't there yet. They just blow me away. This is why I got this camera. I'll throw the photos up now somewhere. The spotlight photos are probably my favorite because the circle just looks amazing as a little outline, and the detail, just everything about this photo really stands out to me. The other photos with the white backdrop are really good too, because the detail from everything that I needed in focus came out perfect. I was able to shoot it on the tripod at like a 30th of a second, which handheld I wouldn't be able to. That shutter smack would have made it terrible, but the tripod saved it. Other than that, I'd say I wish I shot another roll while we were there, but we were kind of getting crunched on time towards the end of the session. So for me, I got everything I wanted out of this camera just from that one roll. The yellowing was just like basically gone, can't tell in the photos. So I'm excited to use it again and some sessions coming up. And just from regular photos that I like to take, just having that medium format quality. I think that's it. I just wanted this to be talking to the camera. I didn't want it to be like a whole cinematic video. I've been yapping for a pretty good minute now, so I think that's it. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Stay tuned for more videos maybe. Alright, bye.